this is how it went. Athletes can be seen here competing at the 2023 Kigali International Peace Marathon on Sunday, the 18th edition of the annual race that attracted over 10,000 participants was dominated by Kenyan athletes, bagging 10 medals out of a possible 12. Congratulations to them. And the East African grain drain food fights are back. From Namanga to Nimule, maize exports are stuck at border points as EAC partners erect new barriers to food trade, defeating the common market principles. You have the story on page 4 and 5 of the East African. And breaking the glass ceiling, this is Faith Kipyegon, who made us proud, breaking her own record. And we can see here that that particular glass ceiling has been broken. And CS Tourism, what are we planning for Faith Kipyegon?
Well, sports tourism is a fast-growing tourist product globally.
Yeah, I agree. But what are we planning for Faith? Before we go to sports tourism itself and giving us a broader aspect of...
Yes, Faith Kipyegon has done very well, and I'm sure the country should be preparing to give heroes treatment. That goes without saying, because we are the factory of the best athletes in the world, and probably it is time we begin mounting these events also within the country, so that the country can benefit. Because
indeed,
yes, when you have these events in Rome, in Berlin and elsewhere, and those countries and those cities benefit in terms of tourist movement towards those particular countries. I think as a country, we should begin mounting such attractive events like the Cape Kano that we had, and we showcase our champions. And I think Faith Kipyegon has done very well to break 2 world records in under a week is very phenomenal and no mean achievement.
Thank you.
I think this is what should unite us.
All right.
And we celebrate this grand achievement.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I know I'm putting you in a pickle because, of course, there is the court issue as well, which is limiting you to comment as far as the CS.
No, nothing stops us. The freedom to speak is not taken away by matters that are in court. We should be able to speak. Speak about tourism. There's nothing wrong. We speak about every other aspect that matters to this country. So the freedom to speak is not taken away by the matter in court. The court will determine it. It has had, and the judges are busy writing the judgment.
Thank you.
They'll deliver the judgment on 3rd, and that will bind the country and will bind all of us.
Thank you. I just want to give a sporting chance to everyone to congratulate Faith Kipyegon as well before we buckle down to our discussion. But let me acknowledge also, just to hear your voice, Dr. Makali Mulu and Danson Mugatana. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes.
I wanted to congratulate Faith Kipyegon, but my congratulations will be on a different note. I was reading about her and I realized that she got married sometimes in 2012. Then she got her baby, and then she was determined to go back to the track. And she was saying how after the baby, the weight was so much, she'd added like 20 kilograms. And the coach kept on telling her, don't worry. She said she couldn't even run. She had to walk for the first month. And then the second month, it was now 30 minutes. And to see her now breaking records, world records, the 7 days, wonderful testimony that it doesn't matter whether you're a mother or you are not married yet or you don't have a baby, you can still push your body, train it back to condition and do something. So I say congratulations to her and congratulations to all those mothers. It can be done even after birth, because so many women feel restricted when they give birth. But this is proof that you can actually be back on form and be on top of your game after birth. Congratulations to her, and she's wonderful example to all of us.
Right. Dr. Makali.
Yeah, Dibam, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, let me join my colleagues saying kudos to Faith. You know, the winning spirit in her is amazing. I couldn't believe it. You know, she's not known for is it 5,000? She's not known at all. We've known her for 1,500, all through. So when I saw her break the record of 5,000, I just said, where has she come from? You know, I was asking my wife, really, I know this girl for doing 1,500 very well. Now, where is she coming from in this area of 5,000? And to me, it just shows how determination can take you far. So I must say congratulations to her. She's a very good example for the young people in this country, that despite all the odds, you can still achieve your goals. You know, breaking 2 world records. Going to remain history for many, many years. I can tell you, a record might have to stand for another, breaking the 2 attack in 1 week, it stand for another 20, 30 years. So to me, this is very good for the country. And this is the spirit we want in this country, so that we are determined to achieve what we want. And I'm telling you, it's a country can achieve many, many big things if we just maintain that spirit of winning and avoid these unnecessary day-to-day differences which don't take us far. So, congratulations, Faith. You are our hero.
Indeed, thank you so much. All right, I wanted just to buckle down, and maybe I'll begin with you haven't. Let me know, did I get a chance?
I had a feeling that you want to leave me out of the. Indeed, I think the determination, the discipline, the diligence of this superwoman,
yes,
is just incredible. Her spirit and her ability to be able to turn around her life is a role model. She's a formidable and a great role model for many of our young people, including young men. And I think she has achieved an incredible feat in that 1 week of breaking 2 world records. It's just unheard of. It rarely ever happens, and it shows what a special woman she is. But coming to our heroes and heroines in sports, we are world-class, world-beating country when it comes to runners.
Yes.
But we don't appreciate them. We don't celebrate them. They just seem to disappear once they have won and they have come back into the country. In other countries, heroes like Kibinyon are celebrated continuously and honored in society. And I think we must change. And also as a country, the government could develop a good policy where we really showcase and take advantage of this excellence in our sports, in terms of diplomacy, in terms of trade, in terms of uplifting and encouraging our children. We have so much to benefit from. But this amnesia in this country, where everything after 24 hours is forgotten, is terrible. And I think we must change it.
How do you deal with this amnesia? I think, is it selective, or is yeah?
You know, if you watch any of the winning champions from the United States or the UK, their media play it out until you're completely exhausted. And you say, come on, there must be something else. They repeat that glorious moment. For example, that historic moment when she goes into full gear, overtakes the Ethiopian runner. And I don't know where that energy comes from. And suddenly she dashes to shatter the world record. Those are moments that we can savor and enjoy and appreciate in our lives.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I was trying to retrieve a magazine here, if I could get it, of where we have our own also, our GOAT. This is Eliud Kipchoge featuring. I think, well, this is not the one. I'll try and retrieve it and just show us how they're being celebrated out there. And this is a magazine in the UK as well. But we'll come back to that later. Thank you for your comments. I just wanted to go to Danson Mungatana and just begin with you, because you recently had a meeting with the ad hoc committee on the Shakahola massacre so far. We know the numbers are ticking up. And you had a forum with the church. We had the Council of Churches as well. That is the National Council of Churches. We have the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops. And we had also the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya. And they don't seem to agree with the fact that the churches should be regulated, despite the fact that you also reminded them that this is happening in Rwanda as well. So you can just give us an update on what is the latest development so far and how this will be maybe an impediment moving forward in streamlining that particular sector.
For us, Dibal, we are a Senate committee, and we want to listen, listen to all views. So we have listened to what our Lord Bishops are saying, what our leaders in the churches are saying, and those views are valid, but we also have opposing views. So at the end, for us is to make recommendations. On the whole, the church seems to be saying that we shouldn't use Shakahola incident to crucify the entire church. One incident should be isolated and punished as a criminal act. Obviously, some questions remain unanswered because how do you explain the fact that someone has been removed, has been saved from the forest, and he's still saying, "I want to go back. You are spoiling my transition to meet Jesus. You know, you should have let me finish because I was about to see him." So. Is that really purely criminal? Can we say the person who put that indoctrination into that head is innocent? And so we have questions that remain unanswered. We need definitely to make very strong recommendations about how the system should handle this, but we also are not going to fall into the trap of being dictatorial. So we have a very serious balancing act that we must carry. Our people have suffered, people have died, and these people were going to church, or they believed they were going to church. So then there's a failure there because where they thought there's refuge, there wasn't. And yet the same, our leaders in the church are saying, no, he's not ours. So it's a lot of issues there. So for us, we're still on the listening position. Towards the end, we will have concrete recommendations that we will take back to the Senate for debate. So for us, we are open to listening to everyone, and we are still listening. We are going to go all the way to Western Kenya. We're going to Kisumu because a lot of those people, again, were not locals. They were coming from Vihiga, they were coming from Kisumu, they were coming from Kawangware. They were going there, and that also is something to ask ourselves, why were they not recruiting the locals? Because they knew if someone disappeared there, it would be easy to raise the questions, right? So we have a lot of listening to do. For us, we are still listening, collecting views, and then we will make concrete recommendations. But what I know is that we cannot leave things the way they are. Things cannot continue to be. It's not business as usual. We've lost so many people, and we cannot say, no, the structures are okay the way they are, whether it is the Societies Act, whether it's the criminal justice system, and we can't say it is okay. As usual. It's not business as usual. So that's all I can say for now.
Okay. I don't know if most of you have been following this ticking up numbers of Shakahola, and maybe you want to add up to that as well, just briefly. Just listening to the chair, now that we have the Evangelical Alliance, all this council of churches stoutly denying the fact that they should be regulated, stoutly denying the fact that even there should be a requisite, so to speak, maybe just a rudimentary qualification for you to be a church leader. So they say, no, this is a matter of faith, and you cannot regulate a matter of faith. You cannot put a qualification on a matter of faith. It's upon the person and his God, what he's heard from God as well. But that is now the bane of, or the bone of contention that we're really talking about.
I completely agree that we do really need to come very hard and very firmly on those issues. It has nothing to do with religion. It is to do with law and order. It is to do with the protection of citizens. And it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or Muslim or a Buddhist. I think we absolutely need to have regulations governing this kind of things. We should not be held hostage by outdated and unacceptable beliefs, because these are mindless, crazy people. And if you let them loose, just because they believe to be Christian, or someone says I'm spreading Islam or Hinduism, then you're going to allow some dangerous elements, like what has happened in Shakahola. This is a deadly religious cult. It may be using religion as a cover, but how much of it really is to do with the beliefs of Christianity, or the beliefs, in that case, if it was an Islamic cult, with the beliefs of Islam. Therefore, I would say that anyone who is saying we should not be regulating to protect our children, our family, our community from this kind of dangerous activities under the cover of religion is wrong. These are lunatics. They need to be locked up. They need our government and our institutions need to protect such crazy people from feeble-minded individuals who are willing to die for something that no religion believes in, no book, no religious book believes in. So I think there is a common sense in what has happened in Rwanda and many other countries in the world. It's not only Rwanda. There are many countries that regulate the activities of religion to protect citizens. And you're either an apologist or a bigot if you disagree with that, because there is nothing that would happen to a religious organization that is operated by people with a normal mind that follow the Bible or the Quran. But there are many, many crazy people who are now using religion as a cover. And they are multiplying. Religion has become a business. You see churches multiplying, you see people opening up madrasas and mosques out of nowhere, when there is in fact a mosque within some few meters from where they are setting up. I have seen groups break up. You see someone with a tent on this side of the road, they break up the next day and they tell you, Mheshimiwa, come and visit us, we have moved, we're on the other side of the road, that tent is ours, we've broken away from that. What kind of a religion is that? That seems to me like a business venture. And although that is tolerable to a certain extent, when you are actually pushing a whole community to their death, then that is not tolerable at all. And I think Shakahola is a good example, a wake-up call. And it's now time for our government and our legislators to seriously look at how we can regulate that.
Right. So I want just to throw this also to Honorable Sosion, because we've had the CS Kindiki recently also announcing that Shakahola will be a sobering reminder for Kenyans and the next generations to come, and as such it should be a monumental ground. No farming should be taking place on that particular ground. So first of all, do you hold with that particular view, and should that be also put up as a monument? And we're talking about not only 800, just a moment, we're not talking about 800 acres, we're talking over a huge geographical expanse of over almost 4,000 acres of land. Why would we put it up as a monumental ground?
You know, Debal, exhuming human bodies in numbers like we are seeing in Shakahola should shake us right up to the nerves. And we should not forget some of these things within a very short time, and we want to get over and move on to other things. This is a very serious matter that we are seeing bodies every day, and the man at the forefront of this process is the CS Interior, and making it a monument for purposes of reminding people, I think is good enough. That has been done all over the world. The Holocaust museums that we've had to remind people about that criminal action of history, so that it can be deterred in the future. Maybe one of the methods of fighting cultism. But Dibal, the Senate, they're doing their work, they are listening, but I think regulating religion, it's time we regulate religion in this country. And if religious leaders are advocating that it should not be regulated, then I think they should come to their senses. Who are their clients? Their families, their citizens, who must also be secure. And if it is not regulated, are they willing to be part of the wider assembly of other cults? It's not only that thing that we saw in Shakahola, that cult in Shakahola. There could be many other cults right across the country of all shades of religion, whether Muslim or Christian. Are we ready to live within within these cults that we witness in this country? That's if we are to get down to really analyze. And if you get these religious leaders, they will also be complaining about one or two or three other churches as not being right. So for me, and from even drawing it from the background of education, why do we allow theology? Why do we have institutions of theology to train skilled human beings to handle matters of theology? If that can be done, then what is so difficult with assigning skilled people to do it? It's like medicine. You cannot say today everybody can be a doctor. We cannot have quacks. Every field must be manned by skilled personnel. And we lose nothing as a country. In fact, we have more to gain by regulating religion and allowing it to be managed by skilled theologians. There could be many other emerging cults within the evangelical arrangements within Kenya. That's a fact. And to me, well, those are the views of the church leaders, but the views of Kenyans also matter, and the views of all of us. It must be regulated. We must regulate our country so that there is law and order and modest approach to religion, and we don't witness this type of terrible cult where Kenyans are killed and buried. In fact, if you listen to the government pathologists, that some of them are even forced to die. They're actually suffocated. So it's a mass murder. It is nothing to do with religion, but it's an evil activity that has visited this country.
Thank you.
And which must be dealt with criminally. And I think we should listen very carefully to the CS Interior, because it's privileged with the intelligence data, how these things were done, and we should not protect anybody whatsoever, provided they show indicators of cultism.
Right. I want just to hear from also Makali. Dr. Makali, we had the chair of the ad hoc committee, I think, posing a question to the Secretary General of the Conference of Catholic Bishops, and asking why should they not be trained. And when you come to the Catholic Church, we have, one of the finest trainings that we have, especially when we have the priests, going through the whole rigmarole of training. Some of even going to Vatican to be trained. They have the most accomplished clergy that we know of in this country. And the response that we had from the Secretary is that, well, we don't have to train them. This is speaking broadly for the church leaders, because even Lucifer himself was very intelligent. I found that. I don't know what was your reaction to that particular question, because I found that to be at least a bit outlandish coming from the clergy. I don't know. What will be your response?
Dibal, this idea of Shakahola has opened very many debates all over the place. And I think it's good that Senator Mugatana's committee is in place, because as he says, it's good we listen to Kenyans and hear what they are saying. Because by listening, you get the perspectives of every group. I think this is a matter we've discussed many times in these sessions, actually. And one basic thing is that, Dibal, even for you to be seated where you are seated, you must have gone through training. That's why not every Kenyan is seated there. So to me, I think training for everything you do is important. Even in our house helps. These days we are taking them for training so that they cook well for you. And what I've realized, even now, many families are not able to take anybody below 4, because they want also their children to get right grounding in terms of speaking English, Swahili. You find in Nairobi now people hardly speak vernacular in the houses. So anytime you want to hire a house help, you're asking for minimum from 4. Why do you go for education? Because education adds value to whatever you do. And I think that's where we are getting it wrong. That when it comes to matters of religion, people just want to assume that anybody can be a pastor, anybody can be a priest. What they are forgetting is that the people seated on the side of the congregation are very educated people. So even me, when I go to church, I want to be preached by someone who has knowledge. Matters in religion. I don't want someone who is in front of me just saying this don't make sense. So to me, I believe it is important we have minimum qualifications for religious leaders, and this will help this country. The other thing is, most of the disciplines are to some extent, have either groupings which provide checks and balances to make sure that there are minimum requirements. I don't know why anybody would want to run away from some bit of regulation. We attempted once and we failed, and actually I think the fact that we didn't succeed that time is why we are having Shakahola in place. Because if we succeeded, there should have been somebody who could have been monitoring what is happening. There could be a government board which must be ensuring they are submitting their annual returns, so that we monitor. The only essence is just to monitor, not to control.
Yes.
Monitor and get to know what's in the country. Because we have realized that even though we all claim to be Christians, our deeds don't adhere to that Christian belief 100%. Many times when you go to churches, Dibal, because us as politicians, we attend many churches. We go to different churches, including mosque.
Yes.
During the announcement time, you would hear the pastor saying, please make sure you take care of your passes, take care of your warrant. You don't leave your unattended, and you're in charge. So what is it telling you? It tells you that we need to control. We need to control some of these areas. That all said and done, we can't let this justice sector be regulated. Let's have some level of regulation, not really this extreme one, but some level where they can be reporting to some authority on an annual basis, and then we can also be monitoring the kind of preaching going to our children and the rest of the public. Otherwise, to me, I have no problem with regulation. I support that as a leader in this country. And education, minimum requirement in terms of education qualification is also important.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right, we'll take a short break on that particular note, but I'll be remiss if I also don't look at, just briefly before we take this short break, what is on the front page of a Standard, Mr. Sosion, where we have reforms, and this is what is coming from the task force that was put up by the president regarding diplomas and shocker to universities, as we're talking about the qualifications of the clergy as well. Do you stand with this particular view that diploma or the diploma courses should be now hived off from universities? They are not really allowed now. Maybe a suggestion will be that, or the expert opinion will be not for them to be actually offering diploma courses and certificate courses.
I think what we need to do, let's wait for the report to be made public. because the working party has been working throughout, and I think the report is ready, it's complete. They're only waiting for the right moment to submit to the president, and once that is made public, then we can discuss. And hope there will be a national conference to validate and share these particular views for purposes of implementation. But compelling universities to exclusively offer degree courses may have been informed by certain factors, because we cannot have mid-level colleges and then you have universities performing the roles of mid-level colleges. There is need to have some order in our education system, so that if universities are offering degrees, then that so be it. And if they must offer diplomas and certificates, it should be both postgraduate. That is a practice. But where you have a situation where you walk into a university and it's offering all manner of courses, including what other mid-level colleges are supposed to be offering, I don't think it's right.
Thank you.
So I think this is part of,
like you say,
putting order to education.
So we wait for the report.
Yeah, let's wait for the report.
Okay. Allow me to take a short break. We are for a station break right now. When we circle back, we will look at what also the Senate is now suggesting, that the MCA's salaries should be reviewed, and also they want the CRC to be done away with, because it says they're making ad hoc decisions, and not all this ad hocery also it's affecting, some of the legislators as well. So we have also the Vihiga County MCAs who have down the tool so far. They're saying SRC should be disbanded. We'll take a short break.